If we say that Swami is our guru and we are his students, who is exactly a Sai student? Swami had once told that just by studying in the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, you don't become a Sai student. You have to study Sri Satya Sai, then you become a Sai student. And in fact, in that sense, each one of us have the opportunity to be a Sai student. We may not be all SSS IHL students, but we all have the opportunity to be SSS students. And in that sense, we all of us are Sai students. And obviously, when you are Bhagwan student, everything is not rosy. There are those moments when Swami will test you to know whether, just like, we in our college, we have something called continuous internal evaluation, CIE we call it. Just like that, Bhagwan also is continuously internally evaluating us. Are we ready for that next, for the next grade, for the next class? It so happened, and when Swami does that, those moments are very painful. And at that moment, you really wonder, why are you doing this? What joy do you get out of testing me? And I remember one of these brothers, Swami would speak to him very often and lots. And all of a sudden, he went into this particular zone when Swami just stopped talking to him. And it has happened to almost all of us. And in fact, the greatest lessons is when this particular thing happens, when Swami just stops talking to us. And this boy, month after month passed by, Swami wouldn't even look at him, Swami wouldn't take his letter. And so he wrote a particular letter to Swami. And in that he mentioned this, word. He said, Swami, why are you torturing me? Why are you torturing me by doing this? And that day Swami came and picked this letter from his hand. And in fact, he was very happy that at least Swami took this letter. And Swami opens the letter and then looks at this guy and says, this brother, and says, don't use words the meaning of which you don't know. Okay? And so this boy was kind of, first of all, he didn't know whether to be happy because Swami was talking to him after so long. But then what is this Swami saying? Swami saying, don't use words the meaning of which you don't understand. What did you say? Don't torture me. Do you know the meaning of torture? Okay, so you know what? He had just written the word. He really didn't know the dictionary meaning of the word torture. He was wondering, that's what you have been doing to me, torture. And then Swami said, torture is when one person is hurting the other person and that person who is hurting is enjoying it. That is called torture. Do you think that when I don't talk to you, you think that I'm enjoying that process? Do you know how much pain I go through to teach you this lesson? How can you use a word like torture? Do you think I go through such a beautiful lesson that Swami is giving at that moment, right? That when he is actually teaching us those lessons, Swami says, right, he's like a drill master. He knows exactly the pain of what we are going through because he's doing it and only then he's teaching us.